Let's make sourdough bread. So first you get with the starter. So the first thing that you're going to do is to make your starter, you're gonna grab a mason jar and you put 1 tablespoon of flour and 1 tablespoon of water at room temperature. You mix it. If it needs a little extra water, add a little extra water if it's too thick. And just mix it. Now leave it in at room temperature for 3 days. Okay, and every day you're gonna put 1 tablespoon of water and 1 tablespoon of flour for 3 days. That's it. Leave it out at room temperature. After 3 days, then you make this part, which is basically the start of your bread. So you put 2 tablespoons of the starter, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of water, 1 cup of flour, 2 cups of flour. Okay, and then you're going to add approximately the same amount of water. But first, I'm going to mix it good. I don't want to add the water all at once. And you want to make sure that you do this in a big bowl. I'm using a smaller bowl because my big bowls already have bread and I wanted to show you how to make it. So I like to make it in the same bowl, which when I'm done with my other bread today, I'm going to use the bowl that I'm going to have empty after I make this. So this is the first thing, just flour and water. Flour and water to make your starter. After 3 days, your starter is ready, and then you put 2 tablespoons of the starter and 2 cups of flour if you're gonna make 4 loaves, and approximately 2 cups of water. So it should be a little bit loose like this. Okay, and then what you're gonna do with this, you can make it a little bit firmer if you like. Doesn't have to be, but I'll make it a little bit more firmer. I'll give you the consistency, you see? There you go. This is good. You know, just make sure that it comes off of the side of the bowl a little bit. But this is pretty much the consistency, okay? So what you do with this is you cover it like this, and then you put it in a cold oven. Not a cold oven, but at room temperature, the oven. Just cover it somewhere where it's a little bit warm, not too hot. The next day, this is the key. The next day, this is what it's gonna look like, okay? See this? You basically just created like a yeast, but there's no yeast. This is an unleavened bread. So we had here 2 cups. So today we're going to use 6 cups of flour. So first, let's measure our flour. So that's 1. I don't know if this is gonna be a bowl big enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is the next day, and then what you do is you take some salt. So this is gonna be 3 tablespoons of salt. And get salt. I thought I had it ready. So sea salt. And then you're gonna take 3 cups of lukewarm water. It's lukewarm. So mix your flour good. See how easy it is? And now I'm going to add this to my bowl that I pulled out from the night before. So now I add my flour little by little, and this is where you use your love. And then we're going to put a little bit at a time of the flour so we can create the dough. Very simple. So this is a time where you can put good thoughts into your bread, do a little prayer, so whoever eats the bread, it will be nourishing and lovingly. Okay, so keep on adding more of the flour and add some of the water now, not all of it. And remember, lukewarm water. So this is what we want to do. So remember, the first day, you just put 2 tablespoons of the starter, and then 2 cups of flour, and approximately 2 cups of water. The next day, this is what you do. You mix the flour, 6 cups of flour, with 3 tablespoons of salt. And then we're gonna have approximately 3 cups of lukewarm water. And when I mean lukewarm, not too hot. So just lukewarm is lukewarm. It's just a little bit warm. And then you are going to do this until all the flour is gone. Okay, so it's okay. Put your love into it. Put strength, courage, excitement, love, health, wealth, happiness, whatever goodness you want to put in there. Happy thoughts in your flour. Keep on adding that flour, the mixture of the flour and water. This bread is incredibly amazing and super easy to make. That's why I'm making it, because my good friend Rick said, hey, can you show me how? And I thought, well, normally, because it takes so many steps, like 3 steps at least, it's hard to make a video, but I have it now down so I can show you. So keep on going with this. Keep on adding the water. Bring it to make it soft. Use at least a 5-quart bowl. This is only a 3-quart bowl. And so I'm gonna put this on YouTube so my friends can actually see how I make the bread. Okay, very easy. It gives you a workout here, that's for sure. And don't get your other hand dirty, because then it's gonna be hard to clean up both. Okay, so keep on mixing this bread, the dough. And so notice how it incorporates the water and the salt. You don't even have to take it out of the bowl, ever. So keep going. I mean, not ever, but while you're kneading the bread. There's no need to get your counter dirty. This is almost done. We're gonna add one more bit of the water. I'm almost done. And I'm gonna add the last bit of the flour. That's why I said add it little by little. And so this is almost done. And if you notice that you put too much water, you can always leave a little bit of the flour out. Okay. So now what you do with this because I put too much water. I love this unleavened bread because it has no oil, no eggs, no yeast. It's perfect. Just a little bit more of the flour towards the end so it's not too wet and not too dry either. This is it. So now what do I do with this is we're gonna cover it for 15 minutes. And for 15 minutes, 3 times. Why? Because we're going to stretch the flour 3 times for 15 minutes, and then we're gonna let it rest for 3 hours. I'll show you what it looks like. So right now, my other batch, I already put the 3 time for 15 minutes. So 3 times you're going to put your timer, and 3 times you're going to, you can see that 3 times you are going to stretch the flour. Okay, so now that I have it, everything incorporated, if you notice that it's a little bit too sticky, okay, it's okay. Just, that's why I say, keep a little bit of flour and also help you clean the fingers. So, perfect day to make bread on a rainy day because then it's not too hot. So take this, take it out of the bowl, and then just bring it to your hand. Take a little bit of flour in your hand so it doesn't stick too much. And don't worry, this is perfect. Every time I make it, it's just, I love to eat this bread. So every time I make it, it doesn't last that long. So now, you keep this in here. And what we're gonna do is you take a clean cloth and you're going to cover it for 15 minutes. You put a timer. After 15 minutes, you come out and you stretch it, and then cover it, put it back, put the timer again, 15 minutes, stretch it again, and then a third time, 15 minutes, stretch it again, cover it, and then you let it sit for 3 hours. But my bread is now ready to do the 3-hour timer. Why? Because I already did the 3 minutes. This is my last 15-minute time for stretching, and I'm gonna let it sit for 3 hours. But look at this, how beautiful. So now that I'm going to stretch it, this is my third 15-minute. Now I'm gonna let it sit for, look at that. I'm gonna let it sit for 3 hours. So this is it. Again, if it's too sticky, put a little bit of flour in your hand so you can clean it up and give your last stretch. At this point, we're not adding any water, we're just making sure we give it a good stretch, and now we're gonna let it sit for 3 hours. My other one that I just showed you how to make, that one will sit for 15 minutes, but this is what it's supposed to look after 3 times 15 minutes. Look at that, how beautiful it looks. And then just leave it here, cover it, and leave it for 3 hours. That's exactly how you make the bread. After 3 hours, what we're gonna do is we're going to cut it in half or in loaves, like maybe 4 loaves. And then what we do is we let them rest for 1 hour, and I'm gonna do another video for part 2. So for now, this is part 1 of how to make beautiful, delicious sourdough bread. I call this the blessed bread, blessed sourdough bread, because I blessed it, I prayed over it, and I put some really awesome thoughts. So when you eat it, you're gonna be feeling amazing. Ciao, this is your flexitarian friend, Jay Tanti. Until then, have a happy, healthy, and wealthy day.